people might think it's strange to want to go and film extinct animals when I spent my entire career filming real live animals, but in fact that's the point. Having done that, I thought, can I use those skills, that experience, that knowledge to give people an experience and a sense of what it would have been like if you could have gone back and seen these extinct animals.
We are dealing with a group of animals in an environment that's actually quite familiar. There's less leeway in terms of how unusual, how strange you can make these animals look. They've got to look far more grounded, far more tied to the average person's intuitive understanding of modern animals in modern environments than have, say, dinosaurs from 66 million years ago.
We have to find a way of working the material so that it feels very relevant to a viewer, so that you can kind of help them fall into that headspace. The main part of that is to analyse natural history documentaries and work out what their grammar and language is, because it's so different from what we are normally used to working on, which is very much drama-based.
In order to properly provide our teams with information, we have to work out what the skeletal anatomy and musculature of the animal is like. We have to work out what the external appearance of the animal is like, the distribution of hair and skin and scales. That requires doing lots of little diagrams and finding very specific niche bits of information that we can pass on.
And all of these things together really inspire our artists to try and create really unique and authentic outcome. And it's really interesting just the drive that gives you, the fact that you're trying to do something with a bit of science behind it. It drove everybody to really excel.
We used contemporary animals as reference, and we start building the animal from that small fragment of bone that we have. And with help of the animators and help of Darren, we were trying and testing to see if this animal was going to be functional in the final result. So it's a complex workflow, but at the end, it was very helpful for all of us. And I assume, and I'm hoping that it was also helpful for the paleontologists to finally see.
Like, we bring a lot of tiny details to every creatures, but the facial of those creatures were very important to us, because this is where most of the work makes you believe that the creature is real.
Fur is very difficult to do. There's millions and millions of fibers that need to move against each other with the wind, with the environment, with dust, with no dust, or in snow in some instances.
The absolute mantra of this series was that we would go to the right locations, that are avatars for what the world was like back then. And that meant we have been around the world to some really strange places. Russell was very passionate about using puppets. I didn't really quite understand what he meant. And then on set, one appeared, and I see what you mean.
A big part of making everything feel real and integrated is how you shoot something. We wanted to make sure that our cinematographers had something to look at, shoot, and respond to. So we ended up leaning on puppetry.
In the previs, we were always considering how the cameras would actually be operated. That was always something that we had to make sure that the artists were thinking about and working into their animation. So always making the cameras feel operated, making the cameras feel like someone is behind the lens. Getting that language into the previs was very important for the sequences and just for them being able to feel like how they were going to eventually be shot.
Every single shot is important. Every single shot tells a story, and we wanted to have every single shot to be as interesting as possible without breaking any scientific data. We always kept all the scientific data as important as the storytelling. There is a step lion sequence, and we see this big fight through these infrared trap cameras. I think it's something really unique that you have not ever seen before in another documentary.
We want a family to be sitting down, watching this show, and just falling into the feeling of watching reality. We don't want them to question it. We don't want them to think about visual effects at all. The magic trick works if they just watch the show and they think about animals, and they think about history, and they think about how amazing the world is. And that's really what we're trying to achieve.
As a director, filmmaker, producer, it's just wonderful to be able to say what you think and want and trying to show. And a load of incredibly brilliant, clever people go, suddenly there's an animal doing exactly what you said. And I, in a way, don't want to know how they do it, but the fact is that they do, and it is utterly extraordinary.